In favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Number 3, presentation from the North Iowa Events Center group this morning. And Don O'Connor, I see, is driving his Chevrolet right up to the microphone. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity to present a project that's near and dear to what we think is important for all of North Iowa. We've got a little bit of a PowerPoint and some notes that I've made that we'll kind of follow through here and go. The North Iowa Event Center opened at our current location 66 years ago. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, 4 full-time employees operating 365 days a year. We have no debt. We operate day to day off the revenue generated from renting our facility out for events on the ground. We have 130 acres of very unique venues hosting a wide variety of events each year. We host the annual North Iowa Fair, of course. Many youth events, ag education, and competitive entertainment opportunities unique only to North Iowa on the grounds. The North Iowa Event Center is the local link between Iowa's rich agricultural heritage, businesses, and the communities. In 2021, we had the opportunity to partner with the Clear Lake Community School District and the newly formed FFA chapter here in Clear Lake. We provided them 25 acres of tillable ground that we had rented out for years and years and years. And the farmer decided his equipment was just too big to get in there and didn't want to do it. So we had a great opportunity to help a group of students farm the ground, take the income off the ground for their club, and yet provide education for youth here in North Iowa. We found it to be an absolute win-win, and continue it again and see no reason for it to end. It's a great partnership. As you can see, we've got a number of partners that are helping them farm. Naturally, they don't have equipment. And so all these people jumped in, Pioneer, Corteva, and North Iowa Co-op, and Farm Bureau, and helped them do this. And just, it's a wonderful partnership, and we're so proud to be a part of it. The North Iowa Event Center is also very proud to be able to partner with other groups here in North Iowa. Most people don't even know are on the grounds. We provide space for the local club of the amateur radio-controlled airplane. They have an airstrip that they're very particular about. You do not drive on their airstrip. It's on the ground. It's on the east end of the racetrack. A lot of people out there every day flying their radio-controlled aircraft. We also have a motocross track on the ground. It's going to see a new promoter this year, starting in April, and we're excited for that. And along with, of course, the North Iowa Motor Speedway that operates on Sunday nights throughout the summer months, all on our ground. And very exciting to be a part of that and provide entertainment opportunities for everyone here in North Iowa and southern Minnesota. Throughout the year, we host a large variety of non-livestock events. This slide just kind of is March through July, and you'll see the different stuff that we do up there. The Home Show, the North Iowa Toy Show, these are 2 of the larger events. These are held each year by promoters that live outside of our local area, who attract participants from all across the U.S. I've had the opportunity to be involved in the Home Show, and I've visited a lot of participants. There have been people there from Las Vegas, Nevada, that are presenting what they do, the state of Michigan, and everything else. So it does draw participants from a large area. It also draws large crowds throughout North Iowa and southern Minnesota who come in to attend these events. A couple of the things you'll see up here, we've been able to do some stuff that honestly we don't get paid for. The National Guard will come to our grounds, and when they're doing overnights and need a place to stay, we open up the buildings, they camp, shower, and everything else, and we're proud to be a part of that. Light Up the Night started 2 years ago. Great thing for the community, especially during COVID with the Christmas lights. We don't get paid for that. It's just wonderful we have the facility. It's sitting there and can be used. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, we let them use buildings to store their popcorn and their cookies in each year, which we all graciously wait to come. So we do have a lot of things going on the grounds each and every year. The livestock, very honestly, is what keeps us operational. And that's the key to what we're doing. We find more and more that the local people really don't know what's going on out there. They see activity, but they don't know what's going on. But they're starting to stop and ask questions. Throughout the spring, summer, and fall, they get to experience some of the finest talent in the U.S. competing at the horse shows. Many different equine disciplines, such as barrel racing, hunter jumpers, pleasure horses, and a number of others. A fun fact that a lot of people don't really realize, in 1954, a new breed of horse was introduced here in North Iowa. The Pony of the Americas, POA as they're affectionately known. They've grown to be one of the most popular breeds of horses in the country today, and it all started right here in North Iowa because of our heritage of horses. And horses go back in this area a long, long time. In 2021, the horse shows, we saw 32,000 unique visitors from these shows that participate. These are participation, not just spectators. That's a whole nother number. Not counting the attendees that are attending bull riding events, the cattle battle. If you don't know, we post an annual llama show. Yeah, there is a real thing as a llama show. Swine shows, and many other breeds are showing out there throughout. You ask why I've got a picture of Cargill up here. It's a funny story. Many folks are surprised to learn that horse shows hosted at the North Iowa Event Center aren't put on by local residents. In fact, 90% of the participants in the horse shows come from outside the area. Many years ago, a site selector for a well-known food manufacturer, of course we can see who it is, happened to have their children who were competing in a horse show here in North Iowa at the event center. During the time spent here, he came to really know the area, saw the potential North Iowa had to offer that existed. As a result, Sunny Fresh Foods, as it was first known, now Cargill Kitchen Solutions, opened in 2001 here in North Iowa and has seen continued growth and expansion here in North Iowa. All because his children were competing in a horse event that he came here and saw what we had to offer throughout North Iowa. And it truly is North Iowa. We've surveyed for the last 2 years all of the participants, and some of the survey responses come back and indicate the show organizers and attendees, they love North Iowa and everything we have to offer, and that is throughout North Iowa. They love the location. They've told us that. The fact it's easy to get in and out of. They've shared a lot of the positive feedbacks about the restaurants, the shopping that is here, and especially Thursdays on Main. That's a hit Clear Lake has done. It is phenomenal. The 4th of July festivities are a big thing people love over here. Having a casino not very far away, and they like to gamble, that's okay. The one thing that we continue to fight to keep these things coming back here is infrastructure. We've got to continue to improve what we've got out there. Our competition has stepped up their game, and we've got to do some upgrading to our facilities that are long, long overdue. And we've already started that. If you haven't been out there, we completely remodeled the inside of the Kenny building. We spent $250,000 last year. And that building is brand new inside, from the bathrooms to the cement was cut up. In large part thanks to Kenny Lindstrom. They put up $100,000 at $250,000, and we funded the rest. The Lee Curran building, if anybody's familiar with Lee Curran, longtime farmer, very activist, state representative, state senator, I believe also. He's got a building named after him he was very part of. We completely reskinned and redid the outside of that building. It was the worst looking building on the ground, and actually was somewhat dangerous with the old wooden doors. So we've done a lot out there already. So you ask, what are we trying to accomplish here? What's our goal with everything we're taking on? We want to return North Iowa to the premier horse facility that we once were. When this was originally built many, many years ago, this was state of the art. There was nobody else that had anything finer. We just, unfortunately have not kept up. What's the horses all about? To be honest with you, I'm not a horse person. I know nothing about them. I can tell the front from the rear. And I wouldn't own one. I'll be right up front. But what I have learned in the 2 years I've been on the board, I am amazed how big this industry is and the tourism dollars that are generated from these horse shows. We've got two main competitors, three actually, in the state of Iowa, and we are competing for those same shows, all three of us, to get them to come. We got them to come back during COVID. Two of the nicer facilities in Iowa are based on colleges, campuses. In 2020, they were shut down, nobody cared. Dan Urban, the promoter for Mid-States, worked very, very hard in 2020 with the governor's office and got them to allow him to start his first show June 1st of 2020 and bring it back up. From that point on, the word got out that we were open. And boy, did they come. We were packed in 2020 with horse shows. We were packed again in 2021, and our schedule is full for 2022. We have very little opportunity to add another show, even in 2022. With the limited schedule we're able to run. But it's beneficial to tourism because these people stay in our hotels. They eat at our restaurants. I hear from a lot of them. They're shopping and entertainment because, honest to goodness, they're not showing their horses the whole time they're here. There's a lot of downtime when they're not showing horses. So they're spending money in other places. Between May and October of 2021, there were 18 actual horse events, not counting cattle battles and some other shows. And based on the numbers from the Visit Mason City study with the number of people here, the economic impact was $4.1 million in spending that was brought into our area here in North Iowa. Our goal, one of our goals is to be able to become a 12-month facility. We don't have that right now. We have 0 heated stalls. We have nothing that's attached. Everything you do from a stall area to the main show arena, you have to go outside in the elements. They will not put a horse on snow and ice. It's just plain and simple dangerous. And they don't like mud either, by the way, at that point. Our competition we talked about, Ellsworth Equestrian Center down here in Iowa Falls. The Iowa Equestrian Center at Kirkwood, the Iowa State Fairgrounds, and the National Cattle Congress in Waterloo, Iowa. This is Kirkwood's facility. If anybody's not been there, and you see this, everything here is under a roof. You unload your horse, you stable it in the barns, you never go back outside again. There's walkways, you'll see the walkways between the show arena and the practice arena. The stables are all on the ground. There is an outdoor arena if the weather is nice and you want to go out and use it, but you don't have to. Beautiful facility setting down there in Kirkwood. The Equestrian Center in Ellsworth, Iowa Falls, is on the south end of town. Actually, it was built with the benefactory of an individual who passed away, left a whole bunch of money to him, and they were able to put this together. Again, the one thing about the facility, everything is under roof and heated. Both these are heated facilities with that. Of course, the Des Moines State Fairgrounds, most of us all been there. We know that's a huge facility. Ton of growth down there. Cattle Congress, it's all under roof, not all enclosed. But they are all under roof, so the weather is not a factor, except they can't run 12 months either because they don't have the ability to do that. Comparison, if you want to look at the stats, these are all online. We pulled them off. If you notice the ring size up here that goes across, we're very comparable in our show ring which, we refer to as the old ice arena. People seem to recognize it as that, more so than it'll be dirt for now, forever. If you look at square footage, our show ring's very comparable. Daily rates are comparable. Number of stalls, actually, we are very, very strong. It's not enough. We have shows that we rent over 300 stalls, and we have to bring in temporary stalls and put in other buildings. So we do not at times have enough stalls to stall the horses we've got. You can see, of course, Iowa State, 700 stalls, we'll never get there. You don't really need to with that. But all of these facilities have an enclosed, covered warm-up arena, or at least a covered one. If you look at this rendition done by Accord Architecture, this is the current arena. This is the west end of the current arena. This is just a area between our outdoor arena, which is currently right there. This is the proposed position for the covered warm-up arena. It'll come out of the main doors. There's right in there, the main door goes into the arena. You'll come into it. It'll go all the way to the main stable barn and attach to that. So from the main stable barn, you'll never be outside. You'll come in there, through there, back into there. We wanted to come all the way to the end of the building. Unfortunately, Northern Natural Gas told us we couldn't. There are 2 gas lines that run diagonal through that property. And it was going to be $3 million for us to move the gas lines before they'd let us put anything on top of it. So we just pushed it down a little bit. That's why it does not come all the way to the end of the building. It was planned to originally, and that kind of threw some plans into a chaos for a little while, but we overcame that at that point. In a closed warm-up arena, it protects the riders and the horses from the weather prior to entering the interior of the building. This is what you saw last year at certain times of the year. So this is where the covered arena, warm-up arena, will set. There's our outdoor arena that you saw in the picture there. Right on this side is the main arena. This is where they stage now to go in to show and do whatever they're doing with their horses. You can see the mud, the dirt. Very honestly, these people have a large investment in this deal. That horse that they're on is not a cheap animal. The saddles, $10,000. Their hats, $500. Their outfits, even more. They are all part of a lot of their shows, what they're wearing. That's a part of the judging for all these horse events, or a lot of them. So you can see, weather does really dictate what happens at our arena. This is the entrance out of the main stable barn. So as you're looking out here, that warm-up arena would come right to here and attach to this opening. So they will come out of this stable barn and be right into that building. And as we see a little bit, there'll be another turn, then go down here into another stable barn that we want to build. That's phase 2. Warm-up arena also helps the transition of the horses from bright exterior lights into a dimmer building, coming into a building. Doesn't seem like a big deal to most of us, especially if we've never been on a horse. But if you're sitting here inside the arena and you're going out at speed and that horse is looking at this, that horse doesn't know what it's riding into, and it gets spooky. And if you've ever been around a horse, they do get spooky at that point. So this is not a good thing. That warm-up arena will take that out. So you ask, where's that come into play? Barrel riding is probably the biggest effect that comes. Barrel rider will come through this opening at full speed. They come, they make the barrels, they go out, and they go back out at full speed because the timing line is right down here at the end. They don't slow down until they're outside. Now, once this happens, they will be able to go out into the warm-up, into the other arena if they need to. Kind of a shutdown area, if you want to call it. So those horses from that venue or that type of performance, we need to get rid of this shadowing for them. We've set what we believe is going to be a $1.5 million goal to pull this all off. It's in 2 phases. Phase 1 is the heated warm-up arena enclosed on the west end of the arena. That's our first project. The next one, and I'll show you a picture here, is the stable barn coming down. We want to go from a 7-month facility to 12. There's a ton of growth here to stay up with other competitors throughout Iowa. I mean, and it's there. These shows are there. Other shows are there. Livestock sales, horse sales. You got to travel a long ways to go buy a horse. Cattle sales. We had to turn down a sale last year because we didn't have any heated facilities. They wanted to do in February. And these are show cattle. These are not traditional cattle. These are high dollar cattle that you pay a lot of money for to be able to take to shows, win ribbons for Billy and Sally and your kids. And so we want to get to a 7 months, so we've got to have some heated facilities so we can stock animals. We can take the warm-up arena, put temporary pens in it for other livestock, whether it be cows or swine or what have you, and bring more economic dollars into our area. Because these people will stay in hotels then because they aren't camping in this weather. I wouldn't. This is another rendition of what, when we are done, this is going to look like. So this is the main show arena as we have it now, sitting there, the old ice arena as we want to call it. This will be a 60 by 170 foot enclosed show warm-up arena, setting right here. And you'll see the fencing for our current outdoor arena setting here. Okay? You'll see the entrance from the main stable barn into the warm-up arena right here. Look at this picture. So again, main arena as we see it. This is the second phase, which will be an enclosed stall area that will be heated. There'll be, I believe, approximately 60 stalls for livestock in this building. It will also attach to this building. Now, this building is what is known as our cattle barn, our junior cattle barn. If you're out to the fair at all, this is where the cows are at, and the sheep will be on the other end of it. So you'll also be able to go from this building into this without going outside. The main stable barn, the Davison barn, you'll be able to go to all of them. They're all going to be attached with walkway, covered walkway. The only building not at this point in time is the current barn, which sits right here. We still have not figured out how to attach it so you can go outside, and it could be as simple as a covered walkway. But that will come down the road as we continue to grow and bring more and more of these shows to North Iowa. You know, we've had some great success already. We've worked with Sarasota County, we've worked with Mason City, and Horsemen of Iowa was probably our first one. The minute they heard we were doing this, they came to us without even asking. We didn't ask. They're going to do that. The other thing Horsemen of Iowa said is they are going to build the fencing inside the warm-up arena. They want to do that, no cost to us. They are so excited that somebody on the board has really taken the initiative to spend some time and improve this facility, which is long, long overdue. So we've got phase 1 and phase 2 that we have started now. We really haven't started the campaign even. The campaign will start officially late winter at a kickoff we are going to do at the fairgrounds. It's an invitation event. You'll get an invitation. Everybody will. And that's when our campaign really is going to kick off. We've worked in what we call our anchors. We feel it's very, very important when we go out to the community, to the business leaders, to the individuals. If we can show them that we have the support of the major cities and the county, that this is a serious, big-time event, there's going to be more. We'll have to do less selling. I'll be very upfront with you. Something I've done all my life, but we'll do less of it because they're going to understand, hey, this is serious. They're serious. This is not a pipe dream, and it's not a pipe dream. We will figure this out. The future campaign, it's very simple. We're going to have a kickoff in late winter. We're going to call it a social affair. There will be appetizers and there will be libations there. We will have speakers. We will have a board story, how we're doing it. We want everybody to understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, what the potential outcome is, and how it benefits all of us, because it truly does benefit all of us. Honestly, it benefits Worth County, Hancock County, all the surrounding counties, even southern Minnesota. These people all come here. If you go out in the grounds on any show, there will be 8 to 9 states out there. How do I know that? License plates. And I know that all the time. I'm out there watching license plates. Where do these people come to these shows from? I've talked to some of these people. They pull in there with a rig. It's no joke, $500,000 towing rig, trailer and living quarters and tractor to pull it. And I mean tractor. These are not pickup trailers. These are semis. These are big time things. Do I understand it? No, I've got news. They ain't making any money in this deal. This is not a for-profit show. It's their life, and they love it. We will, like I said, business owners, financial institutions, major corporations, horse show promoters, all of the promoters that we are part of, we're going to tell our story. We want everybody to be there and everybody to be involved, and it'll be a big deal. And it will be an invitation deal. It will be out at the fairgrounds. We're a small board. There are only 7 of us on the board of directors. We're limited to 11, and to be honest, we're kind of particular who comes. We're working on a couple others. But we are a small board of directors. We're all volunteers, and to be very honest, we have 0 personal things to gain by doing this. It is not going to line any one of our pockets. I'm not into horses. The majority of the board's not into horses. I think we have 1 member that's into horses. We believe in North Iowa. We believe this is an opportunity to continue to grow North Iowa. It's a unique opportunity that you can't do in any other fairgrounds. They do not have the stall capacity for the horses, number 1. That's a big endeavor and an expensive endeavor if you're going to start building stalls. We believe this attracts new business based on some of the stuff that's happened with Cargill. People, when they start looking for an area for a business or to live, they start looking for amenities. What can I do in my downtime? The grounds, there's a lot to do out there. You would be shocked the number of people that come out there and eat lunch in the trees and everything else. We see it every single day, especially in the summertime. They love it. Economic growth, this is a big part of what happens in North Iowa. There's a lot of money to come in from these shows, all of them. And we'll expand on the others, but very honest, the horse shows are our key driver at this moment. We'd welcome each and every one of you. I know, Bennett, I know you've been out to the grounds, to stop out. Let us take you on a tour. If you haven't been there in a long time, or even the last couple of years, it's changed a lot. What's happening out there, most people really don't think there's a whole lot happening out there. It's a big piece of property. It's 130 acres. Sometimes it doesn't look like much is going on, but you would be amazed what's going on if you take a few minutes to stop out and take a look there. We know we have not always had the most positive image in the world at times. Then things have gone on. There's some negative people out there that would rather probably see us go away. And that's okay. We understand that. Nobody is happy with everything we do, as I'm sure they're not happy with everything anybody else does. We work awful hard. We understand it. We believe it. We will figure out a way to make this happen. We believe that strongly in it. I spend a lot of time, as do all the other board members, and again, we don't get paid. We're volunteers. But we see the potential. One of the things that, I'll steal a phrase, build it and they will come. We do believe that. We believe the investing a little money to bring these buildings up, which have sat there for 30 years, and honest to God, I don't think they've ever had a paintbrush to them in a lot of cases. For whatever reason, previous boards just didn't do it. And it's been a little bit of a detriment. But we're changing that. Whether we like horses, even understand them, or their lifestyle, really makes no difference to me or anybody else. We don't have to. All I need to know is what is their economic impact and what's it bring to North Iowa. And that's what we're kind of here today. We're investing in a campaign. We would like your support and help in furthering this process is really what we're doing. So I would open it up to questions for us. I know that was rather quick, but I didn't want to spend our whole day here as we could. If you want to talk about this, we could sit all day, but any questions you have for any of us?
Yes, first of all, Don, who owns that area now? Who owns the grounds?
So the grounds is owned by Sarasota County. is who owns the property. It was moved there, first fair was in 1956. It was started to be in purchase in 1950. They initially started with 160 acres. They paid $62,500 for that 160 acres. You may want to think about the capital gains on that would be today if you were selling for farm ground, or even commercial. So the Fair Association, the North Iowa Fair Association, was formed in 1940. They purchased the ground when they sold the other one that was on South 65. They got out there, and very honestly, when it came to put in infrastructure, water and sewer, they didn't have the money to do it. So the agreement was done with Sarasota County. It was done to them. We lease it for $1. Iowa Code 174. If we hold a fair there every year, we're in. So by Iowa Code, we do hold our annual fair, and we have to. Every place that has a fairground, you have to hold a fair. It's not an option. A lot of people don't even know that that's part of Iowa Code. Sarasota County is fabulous with us. It's not financial. There's not any financial. They give us they pay our property casualty insurance. Sarasota County does. They pay the ribbons for the fair. Reimburse us for the ribbons that are handed out to the kids at the fair. We get a little bit of support for the fair from the city of Mason City. The state of Iowa gives us $10,000 each year. All the county fairs get $10,000 to do what they're doing. The rest of it is driven from local donations from individuals, businesses supporting the fair. They really don't support the grounds. They support the fair for about 4 or 5 days. The grounds the day-to-day operation is funded off our rental dollars. Now, when I say Sarasota County's big, yeah, they provide gravel for our roads. When our drainage ditch needed cleaned out because we couldn't figure out why water was backing up into our buildings, and we finally traced it back and found, oh, there's a drainage ditch here. It's so overgrown, water couldn't drain out. The ground was higher than the outlet. They came in and completely dredged that for us. I'd hate to say what that would have costed. So Sarasota County is really, really good, and the supervisors, we commend them and their help. Not a lot of financial, but they do a lot of things for us and step up for us. But yeah, we are owned by Sarasota County.
All right,
We operate
I
under
want
2080
to bring us up to date here at this point, Don. I happened to be there the day that Jimmy Barkema and Scott Miller showed us around. That didn't seem like that long ago, but seemed to be like another plan.
Almost 2 years ago now, yeah.
That what it is, yeah. And it was a rainy, cold day.
Yep.
And yeah, and here's a plan of 2006 master plan for North Iowa.
We have those.
Very, very detailed, and that's when Bob Amison was big into it, and that was almost a resurrection, shall we say, of the whole grounds.
If you haven't looked at that, that's
everything was
fabulous
covered.
plan.
Everything was covered at that time.
Yep.
So we have. I assume there are no other plans other than what you have right here.
No.
And other than what you put up there.
This is our plan right here. That was a
And that's
wonderful
going to
plan.
go, it's got 2 phases. Does that mean 2 years? What are we talking about?
So right now with these, and I hate this term, the supply chain problems that are out there, steel for a building is a minimum of 9 months out.
Yeah.
Our goal, phase 1, we would like to have it completed sometime in early 2023. We think anything before that is going to be a problem. We would like to have phase 2 completed by 2024.
Okay, so you need $650,000 up front right now.
We need that to get phase 1 on the books and get going. Yes.
Will that complete it?
Phase 1 will complete phase 1, 650.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and at the present time, you've got a little more than half of it.
We've got about 350 right
350.
now committed for phase 1. That's our focus, yes.
Right. All right, and then will any of the plans be changed thereafter, going into phase 2?
We don't see that happening. We're trying, because we've got to build phase 1 so it fits phase 2.
But you don't know what phase 2 is?
Well, they're actually, the architects, of course,
Yeah,
drawing
okay.
them up as we speak. And
right.
we should see them very, very soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Because
it's
they want
kind
to
of,
make sure the 2 buildings fit so that we don't have a huge cost of remodeling a brand-new building to make it attached to the next one.
okay. all right. Other, as far as I'm concerned, your big thing here, your big payer will be the hunter jumpers.
Our horses, hunter jumpers, and those are what's keeping that place operational.
And so this is Dan Durbin, is he the guy?
Yeah, he is the promoter. How long has he been the promoter, guys? 30 years? Okay. The family. But mother, no?
Mid-States Horse Shows was originally owned by Chris Rainey. And
Okay.
Durbin's purchased yeah.
Okay.
So he's the one that has to connect with the owners of these hunter jumpers that come in.
Yes.
And a good relationship.
Very
All right. I do know of a relative of ours was planning to come from Castle Rock, Colorado, and I don't know, last year, whatever happened, they didn't make it, but that's quite a ways away, and I do know they come from all over. So the word is out
Yeah.
that you have a pretty decent show, so therefore, I'm assuming that Durbin, is that D-U-R-B-I-N?
Urban.
Oh, Urban, oh, okay. He, a pretty good planner, organizer.
When they come
Et
in the
cetera.
grounds, they take over and they do fabulous.
All right.
We stay out of it.
So,
We just get in the way.
so I assume they're going to throw a few pennies in here.
I'm assuming because we want them to be at the kickoff. They do know it. Now, they use very little of the buildings other than the stables. Because everything they do is on the south side of the property in the grass where you see all those outdoor arenas have been built.
And did they put those up?
Who built them? They did?
They did.
Okay. I didn't have an answer for you, so
The
I
fairgrounds doesn't, they have control of that
have
land?
full control. That's all, yes, all
right.
are under our control.
All right.
But they put them up for theirs. It's like we have trailers with their equipment on it. They have
Okay.
the water truck is actually theirs, even though we use it the other times. They have an investment in our property.
All right, I want to buzz through a bunch of things here right now. The main arena, is it air conditioned?
It is not.
Okay. Do they have a main arena outside? They have arenas, but do they have a main arena with seating or anything around it outside?
For hunter jumpers?
Yep.
Seating is temporary bleachers that we move around, but yes, they do.
Okay, they are there, but no such things as box seats for
No,
families
no.
and so on? All right, that would be a good idea, but anyway. And so you were talking about the POA show. Are those people still going? George Lalonde kind of got that going many years ago.
Yeah, so they are still going. Do we have a show, POA? Okay, thank you.
All right.
I tell you, I'm not a horse, so I'm struggling with that a
Yep,
little bit.
okay.
They all look the same to me.
All right, so that's still happening. And other than 4-H, the barns are primarily empty? I mean, your
livestock-
county show, your,
Livestock barns will stay busy all summer with horses. The other three buildings, we host wedding venues and that type of thing, which would be the Olson, the All Season, and the Kenny. Now, we did have to move some livestock shows into the All Seasons building this last year because we ran out of room. So we put pigs inside the All Seasons building where the home show is.
so where they have the cattle and the hogs and all that?
Buildings are all used for horses. Most of them have horse
So you
stalls in
put
them.
stalls in there?
Yes,
Or
we do. Yeah, they're all used.
Portable stalls?
Portable stalls.
And you pay for those, or the horse show?
So, it depends on how the contract's written.
Okay.
It can go either way.
Okay. All right, that's good. Keeping in mind for these people up front here, Kirkwood and Ellsworth also have a 2-year college program
Correct.
in equestrian. And so, you know, those arenas are helped, paid for
Yes.
by the community college that's there.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. And so we aren't going here apples and oranges. And you're almost promised a 12-month season, or you're hoping for a 12-month season?
I believe, there's no promises. I mean, nobody will give you a promise. But with everything we've talked about, is it going to start fast? No. And that's why we're kind of believing that the first year or two will be a little less. We actually think that 2.1 is light. When we get going, everybody understands what we've done. Will that happen until 2024 and we're completed? No. It'll probably be 2025 before we start to realize that.
Okay.
I can speak a little bit to that. Prospects that I have include miniature rodeo Torchers would greatly benefit their event. They also host a large national finals event that brings in people from further away. There's a high school rodeo association in the state of Iowa, believe it or not, and they've done many site visits at the event center. Their events are usually held in later winter, very early spring, and they're concerned that we don't have the indoor heated stalls. If we can make that happen, they'd be here with numerous events throughout those months. There's opportunity for other rodeo events, and then probably the greatest opportunity for growth is the barrel races, which, as we talked about, that light transition is very problematic for those events. A barrel race event that had left the North Iowa Event Center because of those challenges came back in 2020, and they're so thrilled with the experience that they've had, and their attendance numbers have grown. They want to be here. They want to continue to grow here, but we need to overcome these challenges in order for them to do that.
I would encourage team pulling. I don't know if you know much about that, but there are some places that make big bucks off of horse team pulling, and it's kind of exciting stuff to watch if that's your key. All right, I'm going to turn this over to council for questions. Mr. Smith, Councilman Smith, do you have anything?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And it was very good for Mayor Crabb and I think over a year ago, to tour the facility that day, and I appreciated the opportunity to do that because I think it's important to kind of get a ground's eye view for what you're trying to do there, Don. So anyway, thank you very much for your presentation today. We appreciate the opportunity. I think the North Iowa Event Center is just a key venue for tourism in North Iowa. It's very important to the area, and I appreciate what the board is doing to try to upgrade your facilities there and renovate. Again, I think the equestrian events are really interesting and have a tremendous economic impact. So I think, I've been supportive again throughout this process for you, and I think that it's important for North Iowa. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Hugie.
I just have one question, basically, and thank you for the presentation. It was enlightening. We see a lot of government money here in these phases.
Right.
That's 50% or better. You didn't really explain how you're going to raise the rest.
So the rest is actually, I'd like to say that I created this whole model. I did not. I stole a lot of it from our partners to the south at Franklin County. Franklin County spent 5 years on a capital campaign to raise $1.2 million to renovate their main hall. It was just completed within the last year. We're using their roadmap. And we wanted the counties and the cities as our backfall. So when we go on this roadmap and we go to this campaign and we go to individuals and businesses looking for a 3-year pledge, X number of dollars per year over 3 years is our plan. The one thing you're going to see at the kickoff, that will get kicked off. A telephone phone bank campaign to the businesses and individuals. Franklin County and the conversations I've set with them and their board members, over 50% of the money they raised for that 1.2 million was from local business and individuals by doing the pledge and the phone bank campaign.
And
So
you haven't even started
we
that
haven't even
process.
started that product because, honest to God, we wanted the partners, so when we go out and everybody says, we have the backing and support, they've seen the vision, they understand the importance, it just gives us credibility as we go out, as we view it. And so, no, we haven't even started the other campaign, so you haven't seen any of it.
Thank you.
Nobody knows about this campaign, to be honest, in North Iowa. It has not been announced other than to boards.
Thank you.
Mr. Callahan?
Yeah, Mike Callahan, my son Casey,
Well, yep, very good, Casey.
probably gets to interact with you on.
In a number of platforms I interact with Casey,
Right,
yes.
right. Anyway, I'm probably one of the few people in the room today that actually remembers going to the fair in the old Sears
Oh, yes.
Property.
We still have pictures of it.
Yeah, well,
I remember.
and including the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus that had a performance down there. But yeah. I taught history for 40 years, so I can't help myself on some of these things. Anyway, I would like to compliment you on your presentation. Your sales background came out in a big way.
I get accused of being headstrong at times.
Yeah, well, and that's the type of person you need to spearhead a campaign like this. Just to give you a little interesting contrast here. As we sit at this venue, we enjoy public-private partnerships in terms of fundraising and projects. But ironically, we usually look to see what the private sector has put in, and then we try to figure out what is a reasonable contribution from the public sector as we continually try to look out for the taxpayers, of course. But there's no question you have made a great sale on the importance of the North Iowa Fairgrounds and the fact that it needs updating. One of the things in my years on the council that we've tried to do in Clear Lake is a lot of infrastructure updating. And without the infrastructure, the rest of it can't really happen. And from what I get from your presentation, this has a lot to do with infrastructure. I guess my only question, you brought up the casino several times. Do you think that's going to be a source of some funding? I mean, they fund everything else in North Iowa.
We have made we got turned down in our application here just a month ago. That doesn't mean I'm done with them.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
and there's others, the Iowa Economic Development Authority grant that we can go after, and I've learned about a lot of that through Franklin County and a lot of other things. So, yeah, there is. And I will share with a little caveat that I didn't share. Sherwood County agreed to put up $200,000. There was a caveat to it. We had to raise the rest before they were going to give us the 200. And you know what? I'm okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
And I says, they weren't going to just give it to me and not me. So they said, you got to raise the rest of it. I said, not a problem. Just you guys tell me it's there if I raise the rest of it. And so when I look at it, when you answer your question, yeah, that's kind of what they did.
Yeah.
And Mason City the same.
Yeah, well, and it's typically of what we do with economic development agreements with private companies that come to Clear Lake. I mean, at a certain point when the building is so far along, they get the money. But,
exactly. And
yeah.
that's what we've asked, and we understand that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
So you're welcome. Now, if you really want some history, and I have read all these, I have found all the minutes from all the board meetings from the fairgrounds from the early 1900s up until about 1970-some. I've read cover to cover. If you want to read them sometime, stop out and I'll let you see them. It's fabulous what you learn and the people that were involved in this back in the day. A lot of neat people built this.
Thanks. Mr. Ebling.
Could you pull up the slide of the committed dollars? I want to make sure I've got that right.
And actually, I have, not exactly all of them, but I have a handout for you guys on some of this stuff, just so you can have also.
Thank you.
Is this different than this one?
Yeah, it's a little bit,
Okay.
it's continues to grow and evolve.
I've got an encyclopedia here now.
World Book.
So,
Yes.
right now,
Pictures.
what we're focused on is here. Sherwood County is committed and they've approved $200,000, assuming we can raise the rest of the money. Horsemen of Iowa have pledged $50,000. Mason City, same $100,000 if we can raise the rest of the money. The commitments for phase 2 are basically just conversations I've had with the supervisors in the city, Mason City, that if we get one done and funded and we're continuing to raise this, we believe this will all come together also. But our focus is right here at the very moment. We got to get to that 650 number.
Anything else, Mark?
Will any of this benefit the FFA?
The horses themselves, some of the kids are potentially in the horse world with the FFA and 4-H programs, you know, from that standpoint. I believe the biggest thing with the FFA is continue to build on that farm ground and what they're doing out there and providing them classroom space when they come out. And they did that last year. When they come out in time for harvest, we let them use the Olson building. And they held their class in there while they were doing the harvest. We're working to get them to come out. We'd like to give them a presentation of what their input costs were last year. Now, they may not, they probably don't. But what would it have been? So we can actually see if they understand what they put into it and what it actually netted for them. It's a learning experience. We know most of it, they don't have the equipment costs. They don't have the, you know, they don't have it. But it still needs to be part of their learning. So we see that as a long-term partnership with the FFA. Be very honest, and one of the things we look at, 25 acres at $200 an acre, we're better off giving it, let FFA, they're gonna learn more out than we're gonna generate in cash. It's just a win-win for us. And we do not charge them a dime, no. It's their baby, so.
It's a good program, relatively new
program.
here, so
You know,
it's a good partnership.
I've got a farm background. My oldest niece is an FFA instructor and teacher in the Walk-On School District. So I have a lot of ties into that world, you know, with that particular end of it. I've got a farm background, my family, my brother and my brother-in-law. So FFA and 4-H are all extremely important things. And sometimes people at the fairgrounds kind of forget that's what we're all about, it's the kids, and giving them opportunities to learn and grow. But to do that, we still have to have some revenue to continue to keep those buildings up and going, because we're not tax supported. Somewhat like we talk about Kirkwood and Ellsworth do have some other funding streams. But
Anything else, Mark?
No, thanks.
All right, thanks. Mr. Flory, do you have anything?
Yeah, just going to mention, you mentioned the pledges in there. So is that something you've contemplated on the private giving side of thing for multi-year pledges, and how does that factor into your budget?
Yes.
So let's say somebody wanted to give $25,000, but do it $5,000 a year over five years.
yeah, and that's, again, I didn't create that. That was actually stolen from one of my many conversations with Franklin County. They did a 3-year pledge, but you know what? I'm willing to work any way, shape, or form. Franklin County did say to us, they went out and had to get a small bridge loan as some of this money was coming in, which was fine. They pretty much got it paid back. We have a relationship with banks that we've already got that set up if needed. We don't borrow money. We don't want to borrow money. But if you told me I had some pledges coming in, they were a couple years out, yeah, we've kind of covered that base already thinking about that.
And Scott, we'll probably take action on this at one of the future council meetings.
Yep, so just kind of, this was for your edification, so we'll have our budget workshops coming up. Creighton's got one scheduled for us Friday morning, so when we consider our support to community organizations, this will be one of them. I think the request here is for how much?
Well, our request would be $100,000 for phase 1. And as we get closer to phase 2, you know, we'll be back and we'll have a further conversation.
Okay. So we'll take that into consideration as part of our community support group commitments for fiscal year. We could look at fiscal year 22 amended and fiscal year 23.
Great. Mr. Schmidt, do you have anything?
I know you touched briefly on the events that we see coming, or a possibility with the new structure. So is there a goal number when we look at it? Because I know we see that 2 million is possible. So is there a goal of raising the events to 30 events a year? And then more so, how many of these events are taking place right now, maybe in Iowa in the winter, and then just in the Midwest that we would have within reach?
Yeah, I think, you know, as we talk right now, in our end, which is really the end of April till the middle of October, there's 25 opportunities, weekends, you know, to hold shows. We held 22 of the 25 last year. And part of that's because we had 2 that were kind of open just for fair setup and get ready for the fair. So we kind of threw that out. So when I say we don't have a lot of opportunity, we don't. If a new show called us, honest to goodness, we probably can't take them right now, which is kind of sad to turn somebody down. We did turn down the cattle show sale last year. We couldn't get them into a heated building. Not the cattle need a lot of heat, because they don't, but you don't want them outside in the snow and ice Again, they just don't walk well on asphalt with ice on it. So I don't, Lindsay, maybe you can address that a little bit too.
I think the 2 million is conservative. I'm basing that just on the prospective heat fund events that I have conversations with that I know want to get on the schedule for November through March. I think there's additional opportunity for cattle shows, for other types of livestock events that we've had to turn over quickly because we just don't have the facilities anymore. So I'm confident the 2 million is conservative, that we're gonna reach that right away. And if we had the facilities booked every weekend, November through March, like we see during the summer months, it's gonna be well over that.
Mr. Cornbrew? As others have said, excuse me, Don, great presentation, and thank you for your support group here as well. But yeah, you've done an excellent job and
We couldn't do it
answered our
without all of
questions.
us. All of us are a big part of this in this board. Like I say,
That's
we're
right.
small, but we're mighty.
That's right, that's right. And, you know, we do quite a few public-private partnerships, so we'll look into this very,
As we
very
do too, and
carefully.
we like them and we encourage them, and
Right,
we've done some other things that have helped communities and provide food and stuff, and at no cost to those planes. And you know what? We like doing that.
yep,
If we
And-
can help, we will.
great. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you
And
very much.
Thank you
I
all.
appreciate your time.
Appreciate your being here. Wait till Gary comes back. You wanna,
I told the Marriott people would be there 9:30, so.
Oh, we
yeah,
better.
Where are you going, yeah?
you wanna,
Well, I'll go ahead on the next item there on the Seawall. I would be real quick here because I mentioned we'd be out the hotel at 9:30, but, so I don't want to keep everybody waiting out there. But been talking with our architect on the Seawall Rehabilitation project, and we've been discussing a lot of the issues for the contract prior to the bidding of that contract. One of the issues that's come up, of course, is the staging for the contractor that'll be ultimately working on the project, and the need for staging area for his, for example, job trailer, equipment, materials, stockpiling, you know, those kinds of things. So originally, we kind of, the architect had presented the concept of using some of the street out there at North Lakeview Drive. And my opinion on that was, you know, that's probably not a very good idea. It's very heavily traveled in the summertime and used. So this would be something that the contractor's probably going to need for a good 9 months of space. So we had kind of talked about as an alternative to using on-street parking stalls and taking out a pretty fair number of those, that it would probably be better to utilize the area of the boat ramp that is south of North Lakeview Drive. So effectively, we would accommodate as many public events, regattas, the Tri, and some of the other events that go on here, work with the contractor, build those dates into the contract documents so they're aware of that prior to bidding the project. But our intent would be, and I just wanted to throw it out here to see if the council was okay with that, to use the area south of North Lakeview Drive on Main Avenue to accommodate staging and storage for the contractor. Yeah, again, I think it's going to be one of those projects that I think we've got to be a little bit careful with, because it's not going to be a project that I think commands a terrific amount of attention from bidders. It's going to be one of these projects that I think's a little bit of a high maintenance kind of project, kind of a headache project, if you will. So I do not think we're going to attract a significant amount of contractor interest. I think we will get some, but I think the more accommodating we can be to a contractor, that will translate into better interest. If I think we say, okay, you get a stage, but it's going to be 4, 5, 6 blocks from the site, there's a lot of work available for contractors right now, and I think we could either see that lack of accommodation translate into some much higher bid prices for us, or just a lack of interest entirely. And I think we want to place a fair degree of deference on getting that seawall project under construction and as soon as possible. You know, I think it's an important project for the community. So I just want to throw that out for your thoughts prior to firming up that in the contract documents with the architect.
Any quick comments, Scott?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
Anything that can speed the project up
Yeah.
is safety.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important point Gary makes, is the safety. There is a paramount concern, yes.
A lot of congestion down there, and you don't need a contractor trying to work around that. It's something, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're
I
spot
think
on.
it'll help the bidding process a lot.
Yeah, I do too, yeah. Okay, well, I told the folks at Marriott we'd be out there at 9:30, so we were